Manual therapy or mind-body therapy? Well, is it a question of which is best? I'm not sure I like best, but most appropriate perhaps. I think manual therapy is coming back, finally, hallelujah. The physical therapists and physiotherapists are now actually not seen as behind the times or unethical or something because they are skilled in manual therapy. That's coming back, and it's something that I have championed throughout my entire career. But mind-body therapy, I think the key here is to always ask the question, but why? It's my favorite question. Yes, but why? Yes, well, there's a tight muscle here. Yes, but why? And actually, I've got this stiffness in the joint, or I've got this difficulty with my balance, or I've got this issue with migraines, or I've got this issue with chronic inflammation in my system. Yes, but why? This is the greatest question. And unless we understand why the muscle is become tight. Now, if you fell over yesterday and you strained something and you had a big mechanical injury, then that's pretty obvious. But then sometimes we'll say, well, all I did was bend over and tie my shoelace and my back went. Well, whatever that means, it didn't go. But it's an acute episode of pain. The reality is you've done that a million times in your life, so why that day? Now, is that because you've just done a bunch of long-haul flights? Is it because actually you're holding more tension within your emotional system, within your fascial system, because actually you've been going through a terrible, difficult time with some bereavements or some family issues? Or there's something going on in your world which is bringing up great grief or anxiety. So our emotional state is so inextricably connected to our, I hate the term physical sense, because what is physical? Well, we're an embodied energetic creature. We're 99% fluid, and that fluid dynamic was within the fascial system, which has been shown to communicate at the speed of light. This relationship of a system means that it helps us to understand why something pops up. Really, it's like whack-a-mole. There's this thing pops up and then we want to just go push it back down without really understanding the whole fact that there's probably 10 or 15 of these things all connected via a machine that are all ready to pop up at any moment. If we don't understand the relationship of systems and we don't understand the roots and the why behind something hurts, why we get pain, why we get muscle spasm, why we get recurrent tonsillitis, if we don't understand it, then all we're ever doing is just taking a fire extinguisher to it and squirting it out. But quite honestly, no one's figured out that there's a leak of petrol and a cigarette lighter constantly flicking next to it. So mind-body therapy is really, in my opinion, an holistic, embodied, whole way of understanding why something comes about. Manual therapy can be very useful in putting fires out. Of course, it does a lot more than just release that. There is so much happening through human touch, and something that I teach a great deal is about what is happening when we put our hands on people. Are we mobilizing a joint? Yes, but what's happening to that joint sensitivity? What's happening to the person because they're in relationship with you? How we make contact. There are so many more things happening when we make human touch than manipulating a tight muscle, or the touch as a human experience, and manual therapy in all of its forms is a relational piece of work, and that will affect mind, it will affect body in ways that we can't begin to imagine. So manual therapy is great, but what are we doing when we're doing manual therapy? Are we working with the mind? Are we affecting people's emotions when we lay our hands upon them? I would argue that we are. So, but certainly a more conscious sense of a mind-body integration, I think, will always lead to a richer outcome.